Another NWA spotlight, Fiona. This time it's not a weekend.
I know. Yay. Well done.
I know. I don't have to pay you weekend money to come on over a weekend. We did last weekend. We had a double with Magic Jake and Tim Storm. This week we got a relatively newcomer to the NWA coming on. So it's more to do with getting to know the character and getting to know the person. And that person is Mr. Carson Drake. Welcome.
It's me. What can I say?
It certainly is. Carson, it's great to have you on the show. Let's get back. Let's get straight way back before NWA quickly. You've been going a few years now. I looked at cagematch.net, so this may not be true, but it was 108 matches so far in your.
I've definitely done a lot more than that. People in cage matches don't seem to like me.
Well, 108 on there. 108 on there anyway, which is very interesting. But some of the names, notable names, for example, Brian Pillman Jr., QT Marshall, which is obviously a big experience there. Obviously, EC3, we'll get into that a bit more detail. Chris Harris, former tag team champion.
Yes. A
few days ago, exactly that. And of course, the UK's very own, the SmackDown general manager, Mr. Nick Aldis, as well. Sent Nick Aldis packing, so to speak. But when it comes to that, and when you're wrestling the types of like a Nick Aldis with the experience, the QT Marshall that trains with like Cody Rhodes and does all of that, is it a learning curve as well for you when you're going in there against those experienced heads?
It definitely is. I get into the ring. When I got into the ring with Nick Aldis, I would have been 21 at the time. So getting into the ring with a guy who's been wrestling longer than I've been alive was a bit challenging. But at the end of the day, I will say he did cheat to beat me. So,
well,
okay.
That's unlike Nick Aldis to cheat to win. That's.
I know, you can watch it back. It's on Squared Circle Expo. It's on YouTube. It's also on I believe, on the Fight TV app. And he pulled my trunks, which is outrageous.
That is absolutely outrageous. And Nick would never normally do something like that, ever.
I know.
Never, ever, ever. That interesting though. Sort of go back to Chris Harris, who's generally a tag team wrestler, which is an interesting one doing a single. And you said that was quite recently, but again, it's that learning curve. It's the I hate to use the word learning tree because I believe that now it's being used and it's probably trademarked by a certain Chris Jericho now. But to go under and to be again someone with that experience. Did you gain a lot of sort of information? And is it about learning every time you go into the ring against these sort of more experienced guys?
It definitely is. I actually do some training up in the school that he trains at called the Northern Wrestling Federation up in Cincinnati, Ohio. So getting in the ring with him, especially when he's had so many years away from doing singles competition, was a great time. And sitting down with him and talking to him is also fantastic. It helps you out a lot.
Yeah, definitely so. And again, with QT as well, the same kind of thing. Obviously, he does a lot of stuff with Cody Rhodes, and again, Nightmare Factory, learning, and I suppose going around sort of, although you may have been wrestling more than 3 years, sort of 3 years, basically doing sort of the stuff with OVW and bits and pieces. Coming on to wrestling those type of people quite early on is also very important for your experience as well.
Exactly. Getting in there with QT Marshall, that was a part of the NWA versus CCW.
Yeah.
Down in, I want to say it was Tampa.
It's Fort Lauderdale.
And that's anher one. Oh, Fort Lauderdale. I mix them up. It's all the same. It's all gross. But getting in the ring with him was also another one of those. Hey.
Doggy.
It was also another one of those learning moments.
Yeah, certainly. It certainly seems to be. And it is all about, as I said, learning quite well. Being in the NWA, they have people there with so much experience. Do you lean on
best wrestlers in the world?
Yeah. The best wrestlers in the world for sure. But do you lean on the types of those people? You've got like the Tim Storms there, and obviously Vampiros as well, the people there that have got so much experience. And do you sort of lean on them and say, look, how can I watch my match, or how did I do? Is there things that I need to tweak to enhance myself?
Oh, definitely. I would say two guys specifically that are monumental in helping me at the moment is Aaron Stevens and EC3.
Yeah.
They both we all kind of gravitate to each other's energies. We all kind of have a very, I can't say the word, but we all have a very specific energy about each other. And then you got guys like Trevor Murdoch,
Yeah.
fantastic. Tim Storm, fantastic. You got guys like Thomas Latimer, scary and fantastic.
Tom Latimer, the national heavyweight champion now after
Yeah.
National, if you watch that match back, I should have won that, but he also cheated. I'm getting like a trend here where all these guys cheat to beat me.
well,
It's
Hard
crazy.
done to. It's not cool. You need to fix that.
Yeah,
Get your revenge.
I do, and I don't get it because I'm a really good guy.
yeah, I certainly remember that match with Latimer as well. I mean, again, another Englishman cheating. I think there's a thing going on here with us.
Yeah.
But Fee, obviously, we've seen Carson a few times on the NWA.
Yeah.
What's impressed you so much already in this first few matches that we've seen?
I like the energy that you're bringing in. It's a whole new energy. You're kind of new face. So I've been in an NWA for quite a while now, and the folk that are in the ring, I've seen a fairly reasonable amount of. And the fact with this whole new move over to the CW, we really only for me, I really only got my first proper look at you and that 6-man tag when you teamed up with Mims and Dak Draper against Max the Impaler, Judias, and Gags the Gimp. That was a bit of a baptism for you in my books, I think. I think you held your own quite well, but how was it facing, I've got to ask, how was it facing Max the Impaler? Because Max terrifies me.
I could take Max any day of the week. I was trying to let them off easy by paying them, but
that didn't work, did
it's
it?
fine. No, but it's fine. Cheap shot again. Don't appreciate it, but yeah.
Quite interesting with the triple threat. You made the 6-man, 6-person tag, and you did make me laugh with the paying off or trying to pay Max. But the other thing that really tickled me a lot, and I said this during the power review, I think it was last week, was when Mims exploded. He had literally gone off the boil. He started attacking Dak Draper, and then
that was a little. I understood completely though because his partner lost the entire match for us, so I don't blame him.
But it was the funny bit after that was you decided at that point that you wanted to get in on it and started beating Dak Draper up as well.
Well, I go in and it's a pretty surefire match. It's me, Mims, Dak Draper. We're all young, handsome, good-looking dudes. I'm a little more successful than both of them, but that's fine. And we should have had that match in the bag, no problem. But Dak goes and just drops the ball. I mean, come on.
Was the although there was a bit in that 6-man, I will say that Mims was very much. I feel as if Mims lost his head a little bit in that match because there was such a focal point on him going after Max that I feel as if there was a bit of maybe he may have let the team down a bit himself there.
No. So what happened? So it's crazy how Mims and Dak are a phenomenal tag team, and then you take the best wrestler of all time, me, and you put them up next to each other. And what I think it was is I think Dak was jealous that me and Mims were getting along so well. And then, Dak's, it's kind of like, if you're going into a football game and your girlfriend leaves you the day before, you're going to be kind of off mentally. And Dak's over there causing issues with Mims while we're trying to win a match. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. It's churlish.
So that's just planted a little seed in my head now, obviously. Crockett Cup's coming up next weekend in Forney in Texas. Mims, Draper, maybe not quite on the same page. Is that a potential tag team union between you and Mims? Or is that something you can't tell me or something you have or have not thought about?
I wouldn't be against it. I mean, he does make a lot of money too. I'd like to be with people that are on the same financial level as me. There are very few, but if they're open to buying real estate, making money, then I'll tag team with anybody.
I mean, not fussy. Okay.
Definitely, yeah. I'm just trying to think who else in the NWA that might fall under. But I would definitely like to see you go with Aaron Stevens, although he's got blunt force trauma. I know that, but
Yeah.
there's something there though. You fit the Aaron Stevens mold, I think.
I think I fit his mold as well. I mean, he's also another man, highly successful, clearly has one of the best tag teams in the NWA. I mean, why not just add me? I think I fit in BFT pretty well.
And he's also got impeccable dress sense with that beautiful blue jacket.
Exactly. Me and him might shop at the same store.
Who knows?
Ooh.
Definitely not the same store as me. That's for sure. Going back to the NWA now, we're getting sort of, we've been watching Power. I mean, I've been watching Power a few years. Fee, you've been watching Power for ages, probably since even before the Lightning One era started. Coming onto the CW app now, we've sort of said this to the last few people that we've spoken to, like Tim Storm and Magic Jake, that there seems to be more importance on the wrestlers now to take it up a notch. Not that they wasn't before that, but it's a massive deal for the NWA to be on CW. Do you feel like the roster is now more focused than ever on getting NWA to that next level?
I definitely think everybody at the NWA is focused on becoming the best wrestling. Let me rephrase, because I personally think that the NWA is the best wrestling show out there right now. I think it's the best professional wrestling you can watch. The only thing that isn't there is how widespread it is. But I think everybody at the NWA 100% knows that it can be bigger than any other wrestling organization in the world is going to be.
There definitely feels like there's a big change. I mean, we've spoken about this quite a bit, and
Huge.
The differences that we've seen in such a space of time, production, even like match quality. I mean, we saw Power this week, and there was 3 matches on there that could arguably main event any NWA show.
They're all everybody is phenomenal. Granted, they're not as good as me, but everybody is so phenomenal.
They are indeed. I'm going to give you some quick fire questions, Carson, because I think you should be really interested, because we're not just talking about the NWA here. We're going to talk just wrestling in general.
Yeah.
Here we go. Billy Cougar picks up the phone to you and he says, Carson, on NWA Power this week, you're going to be in a fatal 4-way match. But the difference is I will go to any promotion and I'm allowed to pick any 3 wrestlers to join the NWA for one night to take on Carson Drake. Who are they going to be?
I'd probably have to go Jeff Jarrett, Nick Nemeth, and a good friend of mine, Aaron Williams.
Interesting, Nick Nemeth. What is it about Nick Nemeth that you would like to get in the ring with? What's the? I mean, he's great wrestler, great worker, no doubt about it.
He's fantastic. I mean, I've watched him my entire life, and in my earlier years, definitely wanted to be like him, and then took a different path. But I think he's phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm obviously now in TNA, who we have a relationship with, and we're very grateful for that relationship. But Jeff Jarrett, is that an interesting one for the experience factor, or is that the way that he wrestles?
I think Jeff Jarrett might just be one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, in my opinion. And that's why I throw him in there.
He very much is very experienced himself, obviously, as part of AEW. I still think he's with AEW. I think I haven't heard anything from the contrary. But Fee, going back to NWA and Power quickly, we're fast approaching not only the Crockett Cup, 76.
Yeah.
Philly.
Yes.
Philly. ECW always springs to mind. And Fee, what is it for you about NWA 76? 76 years in the NWA. What's going to make this one so special for you, Fee?
For me, other than the fact that it's going to be in Philly, the I keep wanting to say EC3 Arena, it's the ECW Arena.
He's NWA World Heavyweight Champion, so we should start calling it.
It should be his. Arena. Maybe it's going to be rename it the EC3 Arena. I think with these shows, for me personally, NWA always seem to pull something out the bag, whether it's a surprise guest, surprise host, wrestlers, matches you wouldn't expect, whatever. It's just it's their anniversary show, so there's always a massive, massive vibe to it. There's always a kind of air of excitement about it. And it's almost that kind of like anything can happen. And they're very, very good at not giving too much away beforehand so that you don't know what you're walking into, I think, as a fan to watch it anyway. I'm really, really excited for you guys to be at the ECW arena. We've spoken to quite a few people who are really excited to be there. What for you, Carson? Obviously, I'm presuming you watched a lot of ECW when you were younger. What does it mean to you to be performing there?
I'm not a huge ECW guy. I'm more of a I've been watching NWA, early WCCW since I was about 12, 13 years old. So I've never been into the ECW craze.
But you are going as part of NWA 76.
Exactly. And I even though I'm not a massive purveyor of ECW, I can still admit that it's up there with Madison Square Garden. It's up there with the Tokyo Dome. It's up there with Corcoran Hall as one of those giant, famous national arenas that everybody wants to compete in. And this year, I would not be surprised if Carson Drake is competing in the biggest wrestling show of the year, NWA 76.
And maybe
I have absolutely no doubt we will see you there at some point, I'm sure.
And maybe
in what capacity? Who knows?
I was literally about to say it may be a championship opportunity awaits Carson Drake at 76.
Talking of championships.
Yeah.
I was going to say, talking of championships. What belt, if you were given the opportunity to go for the TV title or the national championship as your first shot, which one would you go for?
Obviously, everybody wants to go for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. That's the most important title in the entire professional wrestling ethos. I personally really look at the TV title just because I've been a massive. I've loved Arn Anderson, Barry Windham. You got guys like that who have been champions, and you look at them and it's like, you want to be that. Obviously, I'd love to be NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Maybe one day I will be. But the TV title just has something about it that really pulls me into it.
Interesting. Well, there we go. 76 booked right here for us. Television TV champion Carson Drake there. Wrapping up quickly, Carson, now, obviously, as we enter the end of this, where can people find you on social media? What is your events coming up? Tell us what you've got planned.
On Instagram, it's Carson_Drake_. Facebook is just Carson Drake. It's the really handsome guy that looks like me. Twitter, I don't use as much, but I believe that's Carson Drake and double O. Let me think. Oh gosh, I wrestle Thursday through Sunday, so I got a lot. I got OVW every Thursday, NWA every Tuesday on the CW app. This Saturday this Friday specifically, I got a show up in Cincinnati, Ohio called Spot Monkey. This Sunday, we got a show down in Ludlow, Kentucky. Next Saturday, of course, we've got Fort Meade, Texas. We got NWA Crockett Cup. That's going to be fantastic. We got Exodus this Saturday.
Excellent. Busy man. Fee, we spoke earlier on about your show, but you do have some Inside the Ropes shows to come up. So who is the boys or the group from Inside the Ropes bringing to the UK in June and September?
So June 1st, 2nd and 3rd, we will be in London, Manchester and Glasgow, or Glasgow, Manchester, London. I can't remember what order, with none other than WWE legend Jake the Snake. So there's still tickets available for the meet and greet and for the show with him. We've also announced in September I want to say the 9th and 10th. I may have the date slightly wrong, but we're also with the wonderful Lita. So we're doing shows in London and Glasgow with her. I do believe there is something else potentially on the cards with Inside the Ropes, but my lips are sealed. I will get shot if I say anything. So just keep your eyes out on our social media for that. And then tomorrow night, I'm in Beeve emceeing for PBW, and Friday night, I'm in Clydebank emceeing for Main Event Entertainment. So lots to keep you going.
Lots to keep you going. And then obviously in July, our podcast is putting on a show. Yes, it's the second one that we've done. We done one last July, sold out pretty quickly. This July, we're also back again with some of the biggest names in British wrestling on the card. I will not read all the card yet because I'm not allowed. But let's suffice to say, and our Turnbuckle Championship will be up for grabs. There you go, Carson. We'll get you over and you can come and compete for our very own Turnbuckle Champion. We'll get you over at some point. There you go. But Carson, it's been great to have a quick chat with you about NWA. We can't wait to see you on the CW app going forward in the next, coming weeks and months. And good luck with everything that you're doing over in the States.
Thank you, guys.
Fee.
I'm sure we'll see you get that title shot soon.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Indeed, we certainly will. Fee, pleasure as always. We'll be doing this next week again as we review the following week's Power next week, the Power after Hard Times 5 that's just aired this week. Yeah, I am right. I have just looked at my notes to make sure. So we'll see you then. We'll see Carson very, very soon, I'm sure. And we'll see each and every one of you very soon on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. Until then, everybody, take care and good night.